Hey guys, it's a new year, which means I'm going to share with you guys my year in books, which is essentially every book I read in 2022. I have most of the books here. Some of them I read either like on my Kindle or on my phone, and I don't have the physical copy of them, or I just really couldn't find them. If I don't have it, I'll probably just insert a picture of the cover so you know like what book I'm talking about. So this year I read 50 books. I'm honestly proud of myself because that was my reading goal. I met my reading goal, and now I'm going to show you guys all the books I read. And before we get started, I do want to share that I have a book social medias as well. If you want to follow me on my book accounts, I have a TikTok and Instagram, which is at librarym's, and I also have a Goodreads where I keep track of my reading goal. I also have my reading journal pulled up on here, which is where I mainly keep track of my books. I do on Goodreads as well, it's just not super accurate. First book I read this year was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, and I rated this one 4 stars. This was really good. My pages are bent. This is a really good mystery thriller book. I loved it. It was a great book to start off the year. The second book I read this year was The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I love this book. It was one of my favorite romance books for the longest time. I annotated this one. After I started reading more romance, I realized that this book is kind of standard, you know, and there's just better ones out there, but I still love this book so much because it was the first romance book I ever read. The next book I read was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This one was a 5-star. Any Harry Potter book is just 5 stars. I bought the series well, 2 years ago now technically because it's a new year. 2021 in October, and then I started the series. I never finished it, but this was the second book. Next book I read was One of Us Is Next by Karen M. McManus. This was a 3.5 out of 5, and I don't own the book, but it was a pretty good book. I just feel like One of Us Is Lying was better. I do know, I'm pretty sure they're gonna make a third book, which is One of Us Is Dead, I think is what it's gonna be called. I'm excited to read it. The next book was Verity by Colleen Hoover. This was a 4.5. It was interesting. It was kind of scary because I remember the first time I read it, it was kind of late at night and I was in a room by myself. So yeah, but it's interesting. You should read it. Probably one of my favorite Colleen Hoover books. This year I feel like I read a lot of Colleen Hoover. I've been trying to stop that because her books are decent. I just want to read better ones. The next book, again, Colleen Hoover. This is Reminders of Him. I gave this one a 4-star. I read this as soon as it came out. I didn't really annotate this one, but I do have a few book tabs. It's a good, decent book. I was expecting more. It was very much I was waiting for it to be released. I don't think my expectations were met all the way. The next book, I hated this book. It was No Longer Human. I gave it a 1 star. I would probably give it less. I was so incredibly lost throughout this whole book. It didn't make any sense to me. I don't know if I was reading it wrong. It got to the point where I had to pull out an audiobook to even push myself to continue trying to understand this book. The audiobook was good though. It was wonderfully narrated. The narrator made sense, but the book just didn't. I used to own it and I got rid of it for a reason because I didn't like it. The next book is Milk and Honey. This was a really popular book and I hated it. I gave this a 1 star, and that was me being generous. I just didn't like it. Maybe poetry just isn't for me. The next book, I love this book, so I can finally talk about a book I love, and that's Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. She's one of my favorite authors. She wrote the whole A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I don't normally tab my hardcovers. This one has a few tabs. I don't know why. I don't know, it just has 2 little random tabs. Maybe I should reread and find out because I love this book so much. The next book was, oh, did I even say how I rated this one? This one, I rated it 4 stars. It was a really good book though. I just think nothing can live up to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. The next book was The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I gave this a 4 star. It was really good, really cute. I annotated this one. Love Aaron Blackford. Gives very much. Reading it in a bookstore with coffee would be the perfect way to read this to make it even better. The next book was Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I don't own this one. I used to. I gave this one a 3 star. I don't think I would reread it, but I think they're making it into a movie or a show, so I'll probably watch that. The book I wouldn't reread. Then I read As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This was a 3.5. This was the next book of the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series was only a 3.5 because it was interesting. Again, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is just unbeatable. It does have 4 random little blue tabs. I don't remember tabbing this. I tabbed Pip and Ravi being cute and like the best couple ever. I opened one of the pages and it says, the Singh brothers clearly have a type. That's so cute. No wonder I tabbed it. Okay. Let's move on to the next book. I'm gonna reread this whole series. Okay, the next book was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Again, I was trying to read these Harry Potter books because I love the movies. They're like some of my favorite movies, but I've never read the books, so I was trying to read them. This one is another 5-star. All Harry Potter books are 5 stars in my heart. If I love one book in the series, I feel like I automatically give all the other books 5 stars. The next book is From Lukov with Love by Marina Zapata. This was the first Marina Zapata book I read and the only one I read this year. I want to read more of her books. This one was 5 stars and I annotated or tabbed it. Did I even annotate? Kind of. But it's mainly just tabs for like pages I loved, which is essentially the whole book, clearly. But this is 5 stars. You should read it. Kind of a longer book, like around 500 pages, but it's worth it. The next book was Just Listen by Sarah Dessen. I don't own this one. I read it because my teacher suggested it. I gave it 5 stars. I feel like there was a lot of relatable moments. It was kind of a sad book, if I'm being honest, like sensitive topics. The next book, a sad one, A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I loved this so incredibly much. 5 stars, and I want to reread this year because it was so sad, so perfect. So I need to reread this. The next book, or I'm gonna do these together because it's like a duology. Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. I gave these both 4.5, like as a duology, and separately they're each 4.5. I used to own these, but I gave them to a friend because, again, I was getting rid of books. I read them like not in the summertime. I feel like if I read them in the summertime, it could have been better. The next book is All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. This was 3 stars. I feel like this is a lot of people's favorite book written by Colleen Hoover. I just wasn't agreeing. Another Colleen Hoover book, this is Regretting You. I gave this a 4.5. This is one of my more highly rated Colleen Hoover books. The next one is Stuck With You by Ali Hazelwood. Like I said, I loved The Love Hypothesis, so I was really hoping to love this book. I only gave it a 2-star. This was like miscommunication trope, and I hate that because you guys could literally talk and solve the problems, but you don't. It was short, it was simple. I kind of ruined the pages here because I like was squishing my books together. They're all gonna fall, I just know it. Anyways, this is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This was 4 stars. I really love Lauren Asher's writing. I really like that there is a playlist because I love reading while listening to music. I just feel like it helps me read faster when I listen to music, so the fact that it has its own playlist to read the book with is just perfect. And after The Fine Print, I read Terms and Conditions, which is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I loved this one more. I gave this a 4.5. I really love it. I can't wait for the 3rd book, which is their brother Cal and Lana's story. Yeah, it's being released this month, January 31st, and I pre-ordered it like months ago, so I'm so excited. The next book is, oh my god, the next book is in a trilogy, so I'll just show you the first book. I can't take it out. Why can I not take it out? What? So I read The Summer I Turned Pretty. I love the show. This was 4 stars. I really love the series, which you'll see the other 2 books later on and what I rated them. Next is Under One Roof by Ali Hazelwood. That was like continuing the other series. I gave this one 3 stars. It was a little bit better, 3 stars. I have nothing more to say on that. Then we have Mr. Salary by Sally Rooney. I gave this 1 star. It was short, like 30 something pages, and I didn't understand a single one of the pages. Next we have Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. Again, there's like so much Colleen Hoover in this, but this was 4 stars. It was good. I think I actually read this in the summer too. Okay, back to the series. The next one I read is It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han again. This is a 3.5. And then we read the next book, which is We'll Always Have Summer. This one was 4 stars. Oh, also I have like this little thing it comes in. Like I used to own the books separately, but then I saw that they had like a box version, so I bought the box. Then back to Ali Hazelwood, I read Below Zero. This one was a 3.5. I could not tell you what this book was about. I just know it was about snow. The next book is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This one was 3.5. I gave it to my friend. I don't own it anymore. And then to relive my childhood, I read The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. This was 5 stars. Next, Shatter Me. And I gave this a 4.5. And to continue that, I read the first novella, which was Destroy Me, and also 4.5. And then right there is kind of where we stopped with the Shatter Me series. I have yet to read any other ones. And then I read Beach Read by Emily Henry, 4 stars. And then going back to my childhood, I read Positively Izzy. I gave this a 3 star. Then I read The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas, 5 stars. I love this book so much. This is annotated. Oh, did I? Hold up, where is it? I forgot to mention Shatter Me was annotated. This is also annotated. I loved my annotations for this book. Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This was 4.5. I don't remember much of this book other than I love Levi Ward and I hate this other person, but I won't say their name. Then we have I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jenna McCurdy. This was 5 stars. I love this book. I'm pretty sure this is a memoir. I don't read a lot of memoirs, but I loved this book. It was so incredibly written. Why am I so excited? It was sad, but I recommend it nonetheless. Okay, then we have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This was only 2 stars. I love the movie though. Like the 2005 Pride and Prejudice movie is great, but the book was just kind of boring. Classics are not for me. I cannot put myself through reading a classic and enjoying it. Maybe this year I'll try to read more classics. I started the Addicted Calloway Sisters series and I read Addicted to You, which was 5 stars. I annotated it, just no tabs, because I didn't want the series to have tabs. And then I read It Starts With Us. I gave this 3 stars. I would honestly rate it less. I feel like It Ends With Us did not need another book. I didn't need a continuation of the story. I feel like it ruined it. It added too much. And it just kind of made me hate the characters a little bit. Then back to the Addicted series, I read Ricochet, which is also 5 stars. Like the whole series is 5 stars. It was annotated somewhat. I'm actually doing a mobile order for Starbucks and I can get my coffee. My order is there. Anyways, next we have November 9th. This was 4 stars. It was good. I just feel like it was unnecessary. Like some of the things were just really questionable, you could say. Next we have Addicted for Now, 5 stars. Again, annotated inside with no tabs. Now we have Kiss the Sky, which is the first book in the Calloway Sister series. Also annotated. I love this book. This is probably my favorite book of like them that I've read so far. Then to continue with the series, Hothouse Flower, second book, Calloway Sister series, 5 stars. This is where Razy begins. Annotated. We're on the last 3 books. Next, I read Beyond the Wand by Tom Felton because again, I love Harry Potter and he came out with this book, so I immediately bought it. Anyways, this is 4 stars. I love it. Harry Potter love. Don't know where these books are at. I found it. The next book was The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, 4 stars. It was annotated. I really like this book. It was sad. I was told I would cry. I didn't cry, but it was sad. And the last book, my 50th book, was Thrive, again in the Addicted series, 5 stars. Also, I was reading the last book in the Addicted series like literally yesterday. I didn't finish it in time for my year in books. So this is technically the first book I read in 2023. Anyways, those were all the books I read. That was my year in books. And for 2023, I have already set my new reading goal, which is actually much shorter than what I just did, the 50 books. I'm doing 35 books this year, and that's just because I feel like if I have a lower goal, then I'll actually be encouraged to read more. I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Bye, I love you.